Grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. We were talking earlier about what keeps us from our healing, our recovery, our restoration. What keeps us from it is our own heart. You could also say your heart is your core beliefs about something. Not the surface, what you say out of your mouth, or what you want it to look like, but what it actually is in your heart. Your belief about it is the core that's in your heart. Well, how many things in life that are beneficial to us are uncomfortable? When you think about it, you'll see that most things that are beneficial to you are uncomfortable in some way, shape, or form. And if you're humble about that, you will submit yourself to that information or that knowledge. Okay, I'm learning that most of the things that would benefit me, let's take some examples. If I eat a healthy diet, I will be healthier. My body will be healthier. But the healthy food, for the most part, may be not as good as the junk food, may not taste as good. A lot of it may be bland. A lot of it may not taste good at all. Like apple cider vinegar. Some people may like it, but it's a very bitter thing. See, bitter. Bitter is healthful to the body. But that word bitter, think about it. How many of us willingly will put something bitter in our mouth? Willingly. Now, garlic. Is garlic bitter to the taste when it's by itself out of the clove if you just chomp it up in your mouth? But is it healthful to the body? You take some medicine. Is it nasty in the mouth, but is it healthful to the body? You make some type of tincture. You drip it on a dripper under your tongue. It's healthful to the body, but it's bitter under your tongue. Abba said, when you eat the Passover meal, take the bitter herb as well as the sweet, succulent lamb. Don't forget to eat some bitter herb. See? Balance. So we see this principle. Now, if you're one of those people who hate bitter, you reject bitter, in other words, every time it comes to your mouth and presented to you, you hate it and you reject it. Aren't you refusing the health that it offers you? Now, why are you rejecting the health that it offers you? Simply because of the discomfort you have to go through in order to get the health. See? You see? Let's get another example. You want your body to physically become stronger and healthier and fitter. So you start to engage in bodily exercise. Now, when you haven't been working out and you go to the gym and you start to work out, and let's say you do an hour plus workout. When you're done and you go to take a shower and you go to sleep or whatever you do, and you wake up the next day, what do you feel in your body? You feel the effects of that workout that you had done. It's called soreness. You see? You become sore, which is uncomfortable. See? Anybody who has dedicated a lot of their time to working out understands that if you want to develop your legs and if you want to develop your body, period, the exercise that you should do is squatting. And when you do squats, you pay for it with the soreness that you're going to feel in your legs the next day. You may not be able to sit down on the toilet right. Trying to walk up and down some stairs is like agony. Now, why are you going through all of that? Why did you do that to yourself? Because you understand the benefits that it's going to give you in the future. You understand the benefits and the gains that you're going to get from putting yourself through this crucible. So it is with the medicine. When you swallow it down, that couple seconds, that crucible and discomfort of swallowing it, and then the health comes later. Whew, boy, you feel better? Yeah, man. Phew, the fever didn't drop down. Wow. See, it only took a moment of discomfort to get the benefit. Just like when you couldn't sit on the toilet. See, you couldn't walk up the stairs because you were sore from doing the squats. But now look at you. Now look how easy it is to pick that object up and to carry it. Look how easier your workload is now because your body's stronger, which is the benefits you were looking to get. You didn't get them immediately. It took some time, but you had to go through the discomfort, maybe several times. And those who work out for a long period of time and get significant gains, it's because they've put in significant amounts of discomfort. See there? So now that's a principle that you understand is in creation. So there's no need in running from it. Or like I said, standing there like a kid with your mouth all zipped up going, no, 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 no. While you're sick and struggling and weak. No, scripture says what? Let the weak man say, I am strong. Now, this is the remedy that we offer here at the School of Marvelous Light for your ills. To simply change how you speak of yourself, the Father. Change how you speak that name of the Father, I am. Because in his words, if you blaspheme that name, or if you take that name in vain, then you shall die. And doesn't it make sense? I am dying. Then you died. And then you're wondering why you died. Why you tell I am to die? Don't you know that I am that I am? You don't know that? See, Abba made clear, like he always does, when he said, I am that I am. And then he went further and said, I am is my name. So why'd you say it like that? For the reason I just told you, so that you understand your being. I am means to be, correct? Mm-hmm. And that's the name that you take when you say you are something, whether that's I'm a carpenter, I'm a bass player, I'm an NFL legend. It doesn't matter what you add on to it, the that I'm talking about. See? You're still taking his name. Now, what you're adding on to it is the that. So what you add on to it, let that be true. So that you no longer are taking his name in vanities, in vain things, wherein there is no profit. Now, is there profit for that weak man to say, I am strong? You darn right it is. You darn right it is. Now, is it profit for the strong man to say, I am weak? No, it ain't no profit in him doing that. See what I'm trying to explain to you? Now, let's use the principle of the working out. The man that's working out, he was weak. So he said, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work out. So that's the first thing he does. He goes and he takes himself there. That's his work part of his faith, that he is strong now. So he's lifting the weight. Now, 2 weeks later, he does the same reps and he does the same weight, but yet he does more reps this time. So his faith starts to increase in I am. Damn, I am strong. See, 2 weeks later, it increases 10 more pounds, 2 more reps. You're like, wait a minute. I'm just getting stronger and stronger. See, that's life to yourself. That's speaking life to yourself. You see what I'm saying? Now, there's going to come tests when you're working towards your body. We're using this as an analogy. There are going to come tests that are going to see if what you're saying really is true. For instance, let's say you went to the gym and you were making these gains on your bench press. You went from 200 to 225 max reps. You're like, oh man, I went up 25 pounds. So maybe in a month, I'll go up another 25 pounds. I'll be hitting 250. So a month goes by, you got your calendar there, you all got it marked and ready. I'm about to hit 250. You try to hit 250, you couldn't even hit it one time. You couldn't hit it one time. So that's the test right there. See, you ain't really that strong. If you were strong, you'd been able to hit that 250 in a month, like you said. Or did you just continue to believe what you stated? Okay, well, just give it another week or so. We'll hit it. I've already done it in my mind, so we're just waiting for the body to catch up. See, when you have that attitude, then you get the gains. Then you'll hit the goal that you're looking for. You see what I mean? Like, for instance, I was deadlifting 405 one day, which at the time was a very heavy weight for me. I got to the point where it was a very light weight for me. Well, I won't say very light, that's an overstatement, but it became light to me. But at this time, it was heavy. And while I was lifting it, I strained my back and hurt my back. Oh man, I dropped the weight down. Oh, I didn't even get it up one time. Now, after that had happened to me, I end up going up to 550 on deadlift and lifting that and dropping back down to 405 and doing 10 to 12 reps with that, and then drop it down to 305 and do 20 reps, and then go back up to 405 and do 10 reps and go back up to 500 and hit 6 reps. You see what I'm saying? So when I strained my back and dropped it, what if I said, oh, that means I'm not strong enough to lift it? Would I have ever hit the 550? Nope. But it was because I didn't believe that. You see what I'm trying to say to you? Just like I told you, the test will come. How do I know? I just gave you an example of how I know the test will come. It came for me. You ain't that strong. You can't do that. Okay, well, how come I'm deadlifting 500 right now? I thought you said I couldn't do 405. How come I'm lifting 500 like this here then? Don't play with me. I am strong. Okay? That's how it works with everything that you do. And so if you know that, then you understand, wait a minute. Whenever I want some type of gain, there's going to be uncomfortable circumstances that lead me to the gain that I'm looking for. It works that way when you're sick and you need some health. It works that way when you broken a bone and now you got to let it heal. And there's always some type of thing that you have to go through of discomfort, whether it's physical therapy. You just want to sit there and let it chill. No, it'll atrophy if you let it chill. You got to use it like the name I am. If you just are not anything, then you'll just be as in your heart. So are you. So you got to use the name, but it's how you use it that builds the muscle, that builds your faith, in other words, that allows you to do greater things with the name and to imagine greater heights for yourself. You see? Because that's the image that we're created in. It's that image. Like I was discussing on the previous video. Let's get into that a little bit more so that we all understand this principle. Because to the unclean, they can't hear this because all they think about is sex. They start getting in their 3D mind and start thinking physical sex. What is physical sex? Physical sex is the physical manifestation of the image of God. Huh, grandson? How can you say such a thing? Because that is how things are created. Through two things coming together. That's what we see when a man and a woman come together. They produce something. Well, why is that principle there? Because that's what you're doing with your thoughts and your feelings. Your thought, the husband, and your wife, the feeling, are coming together inside of your body. And no one can deny that this happens. And it happens in a secret place, which means no one can see it when it happens. It's just like when you go to church. And you used to go to church and y'all was young and you grew up with it was a friend that you had, it was a girl that you grew up with. And y'all grew up in church together. Now she grows up and gets a husband. And then all of a sudden one Sunday, you see her stomach is poking out. Then all of a sudden another couple Sundays go by and then you see her sitting there holding a baby, nursing it. Now you're like, she got married and then the baby popped out. Yeah, but that happened. Something secretly took place in a bedroom that you didn't see that produced that result that you see right there, breastfeeding. We're talking about the thing that happens in that secret chamber. That's what we're discussing, that you can't see. That's the thoughts and the feelings within each and every individual. Now, the question is, do you have peace in that house? Or is your house like the house of this world? Have you conformed your house to the image of the world, which is divorce, men and women can't get along, hatred, they can't decide what they want to be, they can't decide if their thoughts or feelings. Your house is all in disarray and destroyed. That's the image of this world. You see, houses run by feelings. That's why you see people run by feelings, because that's what houses are run by, aren't they? Single mother homes. It's skyrocketing, it's going up more and more and more every year. Why? Because I just told you why. Because people are running off of their feelings, leaving their thought behind, kicking their thoughts out of the house, and just running off of what they feel. Emotionally driven individuals. And we, as the elect, had to go through narcissistic abuse, borderline personality abuse. You had to go through a certain type of abuse to bring you to emotional intelligence so that you could stop being led by your feelings. You see how that works? That's why you can be like Joseph when you've been through narcissistic family abuse and narcissistic relationships. You can be like Joseph and say, wait a minute, what you meant for evil, Abba meant for my good. I was being led by my feelings. That is not how the house is supposed to be ran. It's not supposed to be run by the woman. It's not. Why do you think Abba says, I will give justice to the widows and the fatherless? Widows and fatherless are not the same thing, but yet they have the same thing in common, don't they? The fatherless would be the children in the house. The widow would be the woman in the house. But there's somebody missing from that house that makes them both in that unfortunate case that God hates. And what is it? It's the right thought. That's simple. The man is out, isn't he? That's what makes a fatherless child, and that's what makes a widow. The man is no longer in the house anymore. So you can't deny what I'm telling you is true. That the world has kicked the man out, which is represented by Yahusha being crucified. Why do you think Yahusha said, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, your house is left to you desolate"? If you have a spirit, your spirit should be resonating very highly with what you're hearing right now, because you know what I'm saying is the truth. Israel kicked their man out. Right thought. Don't you think it's ironic that that's my name? And do you hear what I'm actually saying to the nation of Israel right now? Do you hear what I'm talking about? The same thing Yahusha talked about. So then that proves that he was thought that y'all kicked out the house. That was the man saying to Jerusalem, the bride, see, your house is desolate. What happens when you have a man kicked out of his house? You create a widow and fatherless children. That's called a desolate house. Ask Hagar and Ishmael in the wilderness how they felt when they were no longer in the house with Abraham. And so it is with all of you children today. That's why you're all stressing out. That's why you all are crying out for relief. That's why you all know that this world cannot continue in the way that it's going. That's why you all know that. Y'all know that within yourself, but you can't figure out why. It's because you reject the man. That simple. Y'all can't have man at all without a head. Can you? You destroy the head, then the body will fall, right? So what do you think happened when you kicked the man out of the house? Yahusha, that is. What did he say? The stone the builders rejected. See? Rejected. The Father. What did Christ say he came to reveal? The Father. I and the Father are one. So he's the man of the house, like I tried to tell you. And that's why you see this push of feminine energy without any thought, just emotions. What I feel is true. I feel like I'm this. So you better accept that that's what I am, or I'm ready to kill your ass. Wait a minute. You're turning all into the bad seed. You're flipping out looking like It the Clown and all this shit because I don't want to accept what you're telling me because all you're telling me is something that you feel. People that's led by their feelings, they hate to be told that they're in their feelings, even though it's the truth. And like I told you, that's what Abba was delivering you from. He was delivering you from being captive to your feelings, trying to be led in a house by a widow. Why do you think the whore that sits on many waters, that's what she's saying? I shall not be a whore. I mean, a widow, a whore. She says, I shall not be a widow. Why is she saying that? That means desolate, stranded all by yourself, sad as hell, lonely, not fulfilling your purpose, going against the grain. That's what it means. And so this is what we mean about the marriage bed, not defiling it. People so caught up in the 3D, they think they can accuse somebody just like they thought they could accuse that woman of adultery. We caught her in the very act. Y'all don't understand sin. You don't understand that you've committed adultery on your own feelings. Oh man, I knew better. I shouldn't have did that. That's called committing adultery. Because if you knew better, that means somebody told you something. And then if you knew better and didn't do it, that means somebody told you something else that you listened to. Ain't that what that means? So if you're that woman or the feelings, then you listen to somebody other than your husband. That means you committed adultery on yourself. That's why God says, don't commit adultery. People can tell you all day, especially when they think they're smart. They like to tell you all day about the law of God, adultery, covet, and what those sins are and how not to do it. But they don't understand spiritually how to do it. They're not humble enough to be like Paul and say, the thing I'm trying to do, I find not. Because I see another law working within my members. Yeah, it's your flesh trying to wash off something it can't. And y'all all know what I'm talking about. If you've sinned, don't y'all know that feeling when you've had sex with somebody? See, we real over here at the School of Marvelous Light. We don't sugarcoat, try to brush things under a rug over here. We like living in the light where it's safe. But don't you know when you've had sex with somebody you ain't had no business having sex with, what's the first thing you do when you get home? Or the first thing you do when they leave? You hop your ass in the shower. Using all kind of soap, trying to wash it off. That means, yeah, I've washed my body clean. It never happened. Yeah, it is still stained on your conscience. You can't wash that off with no soap. You notice that? You can't wash that off with no soap. And that's just the reality, children of Israel. Once you know the truth, wait a minute, I'm doing all this labor in the 3D world trying to make something appear clean instead of really having my house clean, really having my marriage chamber undefiled. My thoughts and my feelings are in there and they agree. They don't fight. They don't argue. Because like I said, if you know where to look, then you'll see the arguments that take place. You'll see it. And then you'll understand everything the grandson of right thought has been talking to you about. The kingdom of heaven. You'll see it. You'll say, wait a minute. I had a thought or an idea to do something that was good for me. And then my feelings stepped in there and started telling me all kinds of reasons as to why it couldn't happen. and it started to war with me. And then I said, well, okay, wait a minute. Maybe it's right. Maybe I am too weak to do that, or maybe I am too. And I have this internal battle of I am inside of myself before I can even do anything. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want internal conflict. We want peace in the kingdom of heaven. See, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Calm, serene, peaceful. Your thoughts align with Christ's thoughts, then you are in right thought because he's the head of man. And like I say, if you think about that 3D, how will you interpret that? How will you interpret that scripture, Christ is the head of man? So Christ is the authority over man's life. And man is the authority over the woman's life. And he starts looking around at women in his congregation. It has nothing to do with that. Because there is no male or female in the kingdom of heaven. They are one thing. Thoughts and feelings are now one in the kingdom of heaven. They're no longer two separate things that are warring and fighting. When they agree, aren't they one? Now watch this. Christ says, if two agree concerning anything that they ask for, it shall be done. Why do you think so? Because they're no longer asking as two people. They're asking as one person, which fulfills the prayer that Christ prayed, that we'd all be one. See what I'm trying to say to you? Doesn't it say that the New Jerusalem came out of heaven like a bride adorned for her groom? Okay, didn't I tell you that the earth needs a husbandman to tend and to keep it, just like it was in the beginning? The scripture says that God claimed the ending from the beginning, so he told you guys how it would end with how it began. Just like it was in the days of Noah, there's no difference. What do I mean? Noah was let out of the ark, and he was let out into a garden, a new creation, brand new, nobody's ass sat in before, nobody's feet walked on before. And the first thing he did was start to tend and keep it. He even planted some grapes and drank some wine. So the same is going to be here in the end. See what I'm trying to say to you? The earth will be refashioned, and a man will step off onto that earth for the first time, brand new. See what I'm trying to tell you? That's us, the new man, with his thoughts and his feelings that are one, just as it was in the beginning when God says he created male and female and called their name Adam. See? Carnal mind is death. So if you hear something and you think carnal when you hear it, then you're thinking death. But if you can hear the spiritual, then you understand the truth. Because the spirit is life and peace. So if he created the male and female, created he them and called their name Adam, then he said, thoughts and feelings are what make a man. That's what he was saying there. And then thought and feeling got separated from one another when they disagreed. See? And started to blame one another. The feeling said, oh, I was deceived by this other thought. Then the man said, I was deceived by the woman you gave me, by these feelings that you gave me. They were feeling something good. They tricked me. It got me wanting to do it. Thinking thoughts on how to make it happen. If you can hear what I'm saying to you. So they were cast out. So they will not come back in until they become one again. Stop blaming each other. Your thoughts have to stop blaming your feelings for how you feel. You have to understand that you're in a body of flesh. Be compassionate toward your body of flesh. Be tenderhearted and long-suffering toward your body of flesh. Because it only wants what it wants, which is to feel good, man. It don't know that everything that it feels good is temporary. It just keeps wanting it and wanting it and wanting it and wanting it. Just like Paul said. So with my flesh, I serve the law of sin, but with my spirit, see? You just got to be real enough to accept that about yourself. That's all it means. My thoughts and my feelings are what make me, not anything outward or any outward appearance. Nope, because what comes out of my heart is what defiles me. And then you're going to have the whole world telling you that it's something that you can put in it that will defile you. And then tell you that they're saying that and they serve Christ too. And then all you got to do is be like, well, what did Christ say about what defiles a man? While y'all are trying to beat me all up and throw stones at me because you're saying I don't follow Yahusha because I'm talking some crazy, demonic, sexual stuff. Meanwhile, you don't know him at all because you don't know what he say. So if y'all can follow that today, then you'll greatly benefit. That your daily labor is about your thoughts and your feelings because you'll understand how out of whack that they go. They're like a Mustang and you have to put a bit in its mouth and pull it to keep it restrained. That's how your thoughts and feelings are. Until you get used to it, your faith increases and you become one with Abba. Where he is in I am in truth. That's where the Father is, and that's where Christ is. As long as you're making lies and vain things of I am, then you're outside of the truth. And your thoughts and your feelings are not in alignment with Abba's thoughts and feelings and Christ's thoughts and feelings, which are one. And you're not one with their thoughts and feelings. Can you follow that today? Can you follow it? I hope so. And I hope that y'all greatly benefit from this. Silawam to the house of Israel.